What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus Ally X and Z1 Extreme gameplay video for you guys today. And I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that would be my Misty playing in a tunnel. So don't mind that if you can hear it. If not, then it's no big deal. But just in case anybody heard a bunch of racket in the background, just want them to know what the heck that was. But in any case, we're going to try out Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, I tried it on the Steam Decks, and it actually got farther than I thought. I figured it was just gonna crash and not even let me get to the setting. But hey, let me almost get into the game. Well, let me into the game, it's just the graphics weren't where they should be. Lots were missing. There was only a very few. Definitely not enough graphics to play the game. But in any case, we're gonna try out this game on these guys. Now, unfortunately, I checked and there is no new drivers for them, at least not in Armory Crate. And last time I went to the AMD's website to try to download drivers, it would not let me. But maybe that's changed now, or there's some workaround. But for now, I'm just doing this the way a normal person would. Hey, I went and downloaded this game, we're gonna hit play, and let's see what it does. Because most people probably wouldn't even mess around in the freaking command center. So they probably would be on the original drivers that came with the freaking thing for some of the people. But other people obviously know what they're doing and they're gonna have everything up to date. So of course we're gonna keep everything up to date. But other than that, we're not gonna go and sit there and do a bunch of crazy like hacks or any file tweaks or anything like that. But in any case, hey, let's go hook up the Z1 Extreme and we'll see if it plays. If it plays, cool, we'll get some gameplay. If not, well, then we're just gonna do the Z1 Extreme failing, and if it fails, I'm almost positive the X will do the same thing, so there's no point in wasting a de novo little key thing or whatever. I'd like to at least see what it's like on the Firebat and the small form factor PC, especially the small form factor PC, because I think that's about the only one that's going to run this game halfway decently. Anyway, enough blabbing. Time for some gaming. Well, maybe. I hope I don't jinx it again. Last time I said that, frickin' didn't work. But anyway, game time. Well, alright, here we go. We're just going to try 720p, because I tried 1080 on high and it dropped the frames, even with FSR's help, all the way down to like 19. I was like, okay, that's probably not gonna work. Why don't we try, you know, just low, since a game like this probably won't run well anyway, since it's under minimum specs. Let's not push our luck, you know? And then, didn't matter anyway, because I was greeted with a big old fat crash right when we got to the end of the little beginning cutscenes and whatnot. But anyway, why don't we go hop in and I'll show you exactly what it did. Well, alright, just like the Steam Deck, this had its own issues. Now, it wasn't really with graphics. We could see everything just fine. The frame rate wasn't the best, but I wasn't expecting it to be the best, seeing that it was under the minimum specs. I was just hoping and praying it could at least do like 30, 40 FPS. Because that's playable for some. For me in first persons, no. I would not want to play 30, 40 FPS on a first person shooter, but some people totally can, and figured, well, let's get some gameplay for them. But as soon as we were done with all of this, it was pretty much just like, no. And it's not like the game looks very impressive right now either. But hey, when you have a weaker system like this, if you want to play games, sometimes you got to deal with 720p in low settings and 30 FPS. So getting 50 or whatever, I was like, all right, cool. I don't know what we'll get when we actually get into the game, but I guess we'll find out. And then it's like, oh, this place anyway, we're getting like 30 and lots of stutter and not good. Now, who knows? This thing might have just been VRAM starved. This thing only has 6 allocated. Since it only has 16 gigs of RAM, I did not think 8 would work out so well. So instead, I decided to do 8 on the Ally X, and who knows, maybe it would have worked, but I did not want to waste the Nouveau key and be like, oh shit, now we can't even test it on the really badass small form factor PC. We wouldn't have had enough. And on that, I decided, shit, we'll do 4K, 1440, and 1080. Since this game's probably going to be a pretty popular game, I figured people would be pretty interested. Then I was also irritated that I got stopped by de novo, so I was like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna go back and do that then. I'm sure some people will appreciate it, seeing as though 1440 is like the perfect resolution for that 4070 Ti Super. It can do 4K a lot of the times with help from DLSS, but I feel like it's much better suited to 1440 or super high refresh rate 1080. If you want to use it for like a bunch of competitive stuff, but then play some single player stuff, you can just almost always crank everything up in a game to max without relying on DLSS or anything. It might not look as crisp as 1440 or 4K, but at least you don't have to rely on DLSS if you're one of those purists that are like, no, I do not want to use that. And I used to be like that, but then I came around and was like, you know what, DLSS is pretty awesome. FSR I still dread to use. And in fact, I'll usually, like if I'm forced to like just be out someplace and not have my NVIDIA rig, I'll, you know, ooh, here we go. We got that, not to interrupt my own self, but here's that crash. It just like completely just cut out on us. The audio was like, and then it was just done. And then no matter what, it never came back. I sat here for quite a while, like at least a minute or two, and no matter what, it was just a frozen screen. I had to completely redo my whole Ally. The whole thing froze. It wasn't just like the game. So I figured this would probably happen on the Ally X2, so I didn't want to, like I said, waste a de nouveau key. But anyway, I completely forgot what I was talking about earlier anyway. But I think we can go ahead, take a quick hit, and then wrap this video on up. Man, that is some good herb, but unfortunately this was a disappointment. Not like it would have probably played too well anyway, but I wanted to try it, you know? But I guess with that, we'll go wrap the video on up now. Well, unfortunately, even though the cutscenes and everything were working just fine on here, the second I tried to move once we got into the game, I basically unpaused the capture, and as soon as I did that, it froze. It froze the entire thing. Couldn't do nothing. No, this button didn't do nothing. It was not cool. So I'm willing to bet you the same thing would have probably happened on the Ally X as well. So for now, until the next time these things get a driver update or something, or a GPU driver update, we'll just have to chill out and not be able to play Doom, which would suck if this was somebody's only system. That's the one thing I don't like. I don't like having to rely solely on the manufacturer for drivers, but I tried going on AMD and I cannot get it to recognize it as a GPU. And I know that there's freaking just little, like my Firebat mini PC kind of things with this kind of GPU in it, so why in the heck can those have drivers for AMD, but then these are pretty much like, no. They must have something built into the OS to tell them, go, this thing's not compatible, don't let them download that shit. Otherwise, why wouldn't it show up? But in any case though, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, even though it was a fail. Now you know not to waste your time, or hey, maybe somebody figured out how to get it to not do that. And then they can let me know and I can actually get you guys some gameplay. That would also be just great. But in any case, I hope you guys still enjoy the video, because I sure as hell enjoy making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.